Good morning. And we are driving to work, as you can see. And I wanted to take a few minutes and try and discuss a couple things with you. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I'm just gonna hold it, okay? A couple of the things I want to discuss with you is some of you have zero idea about what life is like on a day-to-day basis for an over-the-road truck driver or even a local truck driver. So I wanted to address that a little bit. Okay, to give you a little bit of background, I have been in trucking. This December will be 20 years that I have climbed up into a big rig and gone to work every day. I spent 11 of those years driving over the road for quite a few of the mega carriers. We call them mega carriers because they have so many trucks and they're just really big names in the business. On a day-to-day basis, a truck driver will deal with broken sleep. They will go shifting shifts. So, 1 week they're driving during the day, the next week they're driving at night, or even through the middle of the week, they'll be driving during the day and all of a sudden they'll switch to the night and then they'll switch back to the day. Most of the trucks do not have any way to cook food on the truck. So if the driver does not buy some kind of microwave inverter to run off the truck, okay, some companies don't allow inverters, so some of you can't even cook in the truck that way. Or cigarette lighter plug utensils that can cook by using the cigarette lighter plug in the truck. Again, some companies don't allow that. Or they buy their own refrigerator. Some companies don't allow that. Then they are stuck buying food, which is subpar food. Let's be honest, it is subpar food in most of the truck stops. Now, it used to be, back when I first started driving, it used to be that you had nice restaurants in the truck stops and you could go in there and have a nice hot meal at a reasonable price, and it was good food. That is no longer the case. 90% of the time now when you go into a truck stop, it is fast food, if they even have a fast food restaurant available, or it is food that is at double the cost of what you would buy in the grocery store in cans. Now let's be honest here. Okay, a lot of times, like I said, the driver cannot cook the food. They are eating it straight out of the cans. Okay? This is the reality of a truck driver's day-to-day life. And like I said, this goes on every day. Okay, now let's add some of the stressors that are involved in a truck driver's life. Of course, you have traffic. That's a no-brainer. But since you got such a big rig now you are a target for DOT. And by DOT, I mean Department of Transportation. Okay? Department of Transportation, they claim that they're doing things to be safe. What they're actually doing is they're doing things to make money for their department to ensure that they keep a job. That's the reality. And yes, you have good DOT officers out there, but of course, as in any business, you also have the butt heads. Okay? And they are out there to absolutely make a truck driver's life miserable. Now, let's add on top of that a lot of the places that you go, you'll push yourself physically and mentally to get to a customer, and you'll get there and you'll get told that there is no bathroom, there is no porta-johns, you're on your own. Okay? Again, this is on the driver to figure out, well, do I go find a place in the woods to go to the bathroom? Or do I actually put money out of my hard-earned check to buy a camping compost toilet? Okay? A lot of drivers don't. A lot of drivers actually just use a bucket, and when they leave that customer, they go to a rest area and they go and take the bucket and dump it into the RV black water flush tank thing. Okay? I can't think of the name of it. I'm sorry. I have a little bit of Alzheimer's. I'm sorry. Anyway, so a lot of drivers do that. Then there's other drivers who literally, let's be honest now, and if you're under 18, I'm sorry, this is going to shock you a little bit, but they literally take a waste bucket and they poop in the waste bucket in a plastic bag and they throw that into dumpsters. Or they take soda bottles and they pee in it and they throw that everywhere. Okay? And I'm sure you've seen them. They're all along the highway. They're all along everywhere the trucks are at. Okay? There are people who do that, who do not care. It's very distressing to us who have been in the business. Like I said, this December will be 20 years I've been in the business. It is very distressing to us who've been in the business this long to see newer drivers doing this, but it's like that all the time. I don't know what to tell you more about a day-to-day basis on a truck driver, except for let's go with dealing with companies and dispatch. There are good dispatchers out there. I want to say this right now. There are good dispatchers out there that certain truck drivers take advantage of and turn them into bad dispatchers. Then there are dispatchers out there who are like petulant children who think it is their job to punish every truck driver out there who does not do exactly what they're told. And if you are a truck driver, you know exactly what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is this: your dispatchers control your money. Most truck drivers do not get paid by the hour. Most truck drivers get paid by the mile. If you are sitting at a dock for 8 hours, 90% of the time, those truck drivers are not being paid. They're not being paid. Okay? Some companies do give you a small amount of money. It's like $10 an hour after 4 hours. So these warehouses now know this. So they'll hold a truck driver there. Why? Because they can, for 3.5 hours. So the driver loses 3.5 hours of work for nothing. They get paid nothing. All right? Then you have companies that don't pay detention at all. Trust me when I tell you, those warehouses know that. And those drivers, if it's a Friday especially, those drivers could be held there 8 to 12 hours without pay. Now, if you are not involved in the transportation industry, this sounds insane. Okay? This sounds absolutely insane to you. I understand. When I first got into trucking, it pissed me off because I was like, I am working for nothing. This is the trucking industry. Okay? This is what drivers go through every day. We go through poor food, poor sleep, annoying office people, annoying warehouse people, and then you wonder why you, the public, wonder why you have truck drivers out there flipping people off and going ballistic. Well, let's see. You lock somebody in an 8-foot box 360 days of the year, and you run them like a dog those 360 days, and then you pay them less than poverty level money for running them like a dog, and now they are locked into that system to where if they go and apply for another job, the only things that the unemployment office will recommend is other truck driving jobs. They will not even send them to go look at another job. Sadly, this is the state of affairs in the trucking industry, and it's been this way for over 20 years. I can tell you this, that after you've been in the business for a couple years, you start figuring out, well, I need to leave this bad company and go over to these good companies and go work for them, because at least they don't treat me like a number and I get treated like a person. Now, what's going on in the state of the world right now is this is being exacerbated. All these issues are being exacerbated because of the fact that there's limited freight. All right? There's limited diesel exhaust fluid. If you don't know what that is, the new trucks need it to run. People are fighting for the higher paying trucking jobs because they've been in the business a while and they want those higher paying jobs. Other drivers now are turning on each other because now it is a dog-eat-dog fight. I've got to get that freight before that other driver, because if I get that freight before that other driver, I'm going to make more money this week. Okay? Folks, I'm just telling you, I'm hearing people say, well, it's because we don't have enough truck drivers. Well, the reason you don't have truck drivers is because people have come to with high hopes of changing their life and come into this business, and they get treated like they are not a person. They get treated like a slave. I'm telling you this honestly. I have worked for certain trucking companies, and I'm not going to say their names, but I have worked for certain trucking companies 70 hours in 5 days. All right? 70 hours in 5 days and made $175. Now, I don't know what that figures out to by an hourly basis, but that is way, way below minimum wage. Okay? This happens. All right? Now, the other thing that trucking companies do is, oh, lo and behold, oh, well, we made a mistake this week on your paycheck. We'll catch it up next week. And then the next week, when you get your paycheck expecting that correction to be there, instead of correcting it, they take it away. This happens all the time. This is a way for the trucking company to play with you. This happens all the time. This is why you have truck drivers having incidences of road rage. This is why you have truck drivers who run out of hours on the highway and they keep driving even though they know if they get caught by DOT, right, they're going to get a heavy fine. Well, they have food, they have family to feed. They have bills to pay. All right? They're going to do it. They're going to do it because they're not paid enough. They're going to do it because there has been no real reform in the trucking industry in decades. So you sitting there saying, well, you know, we're going to throw them in prison if they run over people. Well, I'm sorry, but a lot of the older drivers are going to roll the dice. They're going to play that Russian roulette because they have family to feed, bills to pay, and their companies have put them in that situation. This is why there's a shortage of truck drivers, because people have come into the business. They've seen immediately what is going on in the business. They've seen through the lies that recruiters tell, and they say, I want no part of that. Okay? Now, for those of us who have been in the business for 20 years, right, we have dealt with all of this and learned to work around it. There are workarounds, but it takes so long to learn the system to work around that you lose money the first couple of years you're in the business. Now, with the state of affairs that we got today, I get paid now. I have, like I said, this December will be 20 years I've been in the business. I have worked my way up to be in a local job, working Monday through Friday, getting paid by the hour. I have worked my ass off to get in this position. This was not given to me. So I'm going to take that away from every driver out there who's driving over the road who says, well, you're lucky, you're lucky, you're lucky. I'm not lucky. I busted my behind to get into this position, okay? I have been out in minus 20 degree weather, hands freezing, teeth chattering, breaking my back to unbreak ice from around landing gear to get hooked to a trailer, getting frostbite trying to get the glad hands to hook to the trailer. All right, I have worked my ass off to get where I am today. So don't tell me, oh, well, you're blessed to this and that. Yes, I'm blessed to have a job. But guess what? With everything that's going on, I might lose my job now. With the way the economy is going, I might get laid off. So I want to address this to people who say, oh, well, everything's all kumbaya. Everything is not all kumbaya. Okay? It has not been all kumbaya for the last 4 decades in trucking. Has there been improvement? Yes. Does it have a lot more further to go? Yes. I'm telling you that when truck drivers start being laid off, which is starting to happen, you better sit up and pay attention, because truck drivers do not just get laid off. They are the slaves that you see every day and don't realize that they are slaves. I'm telling you right now, 75% of the drivers that are out there are working their butts off trying to move your freight, your mail, your packages every day. Throwing up in the truck. Sick as a dog and still working. People die in trucks, and they'll sit for 3 days in the truck stop before the smell alerts the police and the local truck stop employees that, oh, hey, there's a problem. It happens every day all across the United States. People die in their trucks. They literally work themselves to death. So, I'm sorry if this sounds like a little bit of a rant, but to have an individual come up to me in a store and tell me, well, if you truck drivers would just do your job, we would not have problems with the food on the shelf. Well, I'm sorry, Karen. If you would just do your job and not make it harder for me to drive my truck and switch lanes on the highway, maybe your freight would get there a little bit easier. I'm sorry, Karen. If you would just pay attention to the fact that truck drivers are people and we need a bathroom every now and then, maybe you wouldn't have pee bottles all over your parking lot. Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. Maybe truck drivers wouldn't have so many medical issues if we were able to get good food. Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. Maybe truck drivers would dress better if we got actual pay for everything that we do. I just wanted to come on this morning, and yes, it sounds like a rant. It's a little bit of a rant, and let you know that some of the greatest people I have ever met have been in trucks. And they have given their life so that your grocery food is on the shelf. So don't come to me and tell me, well, maybe if you truck drivers would do your job, we wouldn't have all these problems getting food on the shelves. We're doing our job. We can't do any more. We can't do anymore. We can't pay anymore. So, yes, it sounds like a little bit of a rant. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit upset this morning. Because of that comment I had last night. And it just, to me, it was a nonsensical comment from an individual who had no clue about the trucking industry. And I felt that I needed to put out a video trying to give you who don't have a clue about the trucking industry an idea of what we go through on a day-to-day basis. I've seen and lost good friends in trucking. I really have. Don't blame the truck drivers for the loss of freight on the shelves. It is not our fault. We are doing everything we can. We are literally working as hard as we can to try and get that freight there. A lot of us, like I said, are working at a loss. We're working at a loss to try and make sure that people get fed, to try and make sure that things are taken care of. So I'm here at work now. I got to go in and clock in, and I just wanted to put this video out today because I felt that people needed to actually hear about what actually happens in the trucking industry from a truck driver's perspective. And with that, I'm going to let you go. Bicycle.